Greeting, internet friends. Welcome to another exciting episode of Dabbling with Dan, the bearded series. No Shave November turned into No Shave December and January. But set that aside. What we're going to be working on today is I have a friend who has a blind which she purchased, and her pet cat went ahead and chewed the pull cord. So I thought it was going to be an easy fix. I would just go ahead and equal all the lengths of the pull cord, retie it. But what we determined is when the blind is lowered all the way down, the pull cord is shortened, which then doesn't allow the blind to go all the way to the bottom of the window. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to replace all the strings to this blind. And you can probably see one of them right here. And the strings come out and they attached to the base. So what we're going to have to do is gain access to the bottom and the top of the blind so that we can restring some new cord and give it some extra length. And she went ahead and purchased a spool of this string. So what we had to do first is take a drill and remove a rivet here so this top unit will slide out. And then of course the bottom will have to take the end pieces off. So we're going to go ahead and take a moment to reposition the camera. But before we do, I just want to thank you for joining me today. And of course I'm trying to build up my subscribers. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. I think you have to have a Gmail account. And then of course if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And of course there's a little bell. If you hit the bell, I post videos, and when they get posted, they'll send you a little bit of a notice to say, hey, Dabbling Dan has posted another video. Thanks again for watching. We'll be right back. So this specific blind has 4 individual cords, as you can see right here, okay? And when we take a closer look, it's got a metal, I guess what I would call like a BB that is spliced and is crimped around these strings. And in addition to, there's a knot. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this and then take this knot out so that we can go ahead and pull the strings through this plastic piece. Now we're not going to change this length at all. This will stay the same. But what we want to do is, based on the measurement, we want to probably add about another 20 inches of string to this length so that the blind can be fully lowered. So let's take a moment and let's go ahead and remove this and take this off. I have a small screwdriver here, and what I'm going to try to do, so you guys can see, is I'm just going to put that screwdriver and slowly twist it so that will open up a little bit, and then I'm going to pull the strings, and you can kind of see that is the little metal piece. We're going to go ahead and set that off to the side. And now we're going to untie these strings. I could just cut it, but I kind of really want to keep the length so I have a really good idea of how long I need to pull these new strings through. Here we go. Now these 4 strings have been untied, and now I'll go ahead and I'll pull this through, and I'll set this off to the side with the little metal thing here, right there. We'll come back to that later. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is remove this bottom track here, and there's this little end piece here. I'll pull that out, set that off to the side, and As you see, I'm just going to slide this off, and it will allow me access to the bottom here. Oh, perfect. Just go ahead and lay that on the floor so it's not in my way. And what you'll also have to figure out is that the string closest to the device that you pull the cords down is always going to be shorter than the string all the way at the far end. Okay? So what I thought about doing is I'm going to try to separate these strings and then pull each one here to identify which string this is. So let's see as I pull. So here, look. As I pull this string here, it pulls that one. Ta-da! So I know that this is the first one I'm going to deal with. And there's a kind of an odd looking knot here. I'm going to try to duplicate that. And sometimes the best way of duplicating is kind of take the one apart. But I want to show you something. I want to show you the string I'm going to use. And when I talk about pulling the string through, I'm going to tie the new one to this and then pull it through. And maybe I won't have to take off this top part, but time will tell. We'll see. Because the string has to go through this mechanism right here. I'm trying to see if you guys can see it. This mechanism right here. And there's like a little gear in there that has to be in the open position so these strings will pull through. So this is the replacement spool that my friend purchased. And I think she found it on the internet, and I think it was only like $10. It's 1 millimeter thickness, and it was a color that she felt that would best match. And I have to admit, guys, I'm colorblind. I think it's right on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is again try to identify which string this is. It's not that one. It definitely is this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to take my spool, give me some length, and I'm going to tie these two together. And I don't want to make a big knot, but I do want to make a knot that's going to hold these two strings together. I hope that's small enough to get through there. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, I'm tugging on this one. That one's pulling up to this point. The spool is unraveling. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe that's gonna work. All right, so now I think what I'm gonna do is before I pull it through, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this top piece. It gave me access to the top of the blind. And with this little gear all the way in the open position, hopefully those strings will pull through. Aha, and they did. They pulled through. Now, I'm going to collapse the blind and see if it will pull through this piece, which has a smaller diameter hole, which I hope those, yep, and the knot's pulled right through. And let's see, okay, you can see the knot, and I'm just going to tug it through all the way. Ah, look, it came out the other end, perfect. All right, now, because I'm not 100% sure of the length, I'm going to go ahead and give I've got, how many feet is this? 100 meters. I got plenty here. So now I'm going to untie this. Okay. And at the end of the original one, you see that there's like a little plastic piece. I'm going to reuse that and put it on my new string. And there appears to be some sort of like a knot that goes around and around. It's pretty large diameter. And like I said, I'm going to try to duplicate it. So it looks like after I've made it all the way through, I'm going to put a loop in here and just begin to tie a couple knots and see if I can get that diameter very similar to the one I just removed. Okay, there's one knot, and it doesn't look like that's big enough, so let's twist this again and make another knot. Hopefully you guys can see this. Ooh, yeah, that one definitely made it almost the same size. And let's do it one more time. 3 times the charm, right? Or is it 3rd time a charm? All right, yeah, I think it's 3rd time a charm. Now, since that's through, and I think that's pretty sufficient, that I'm gonna set this one off to the side. When I pull this, you'll see that it will hold that in place, and that is just perfect. Okay, again, here at the top, this unit will eventually go into that type of position there. And we're making progress, everybody. I like this. All right, so how much? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for this first one. I'm going to do it a very nice arm length. Of course, what I really wanted to make sure it's going to be longer than the one I took off, plus about 20 inches. So if I use this as a template, I could say to you that I want to go out here from the old end, probably out another 20 inches. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out a little bit further than that. It's better to have more since I have plenty on this spool. And then I'll cut. All right. So this first one, I'm done with it. I'll dispose of that. And we'll move on to the next. All right, so this is the next one. And I will tug on this. I'll tug on that and see which one it pulls here. Aha, it's this one. You see it? Okay. Pulling, pulling. All right, so this is the one I want. I think this is maybe a better knot that I'll use. Well, I'll kind of twist them both together at the same. All right, that's good and tugged. Now, I'll pull this one through. Again, I have to have this little gear in the open position to allow that knot to come through. I have to have the right string. It's gotta be this one. Aha. I was tugging the wrong one, everybody. All right, the little metals. All right, there we go. All right, so everyone, what I really need to do is remove this top piece all the way off so it is not in my way. And we will place it right here. All right. Now this is the one we're doing right now, and I'm going to pull and you'll see the knot and the spool moving. Okay. Again, the knot needs to make it through this plastic piece, which the diameter of that knot's pretty significant. I just don't want to, but it pulls through. And now I want to pull it through the blind. Make sure you guys can see that. We'll pull it through the blind. Where is it? Right there. The knot. Pull it through a couple more. One more, and then boom to the bottom. Bingo, perfect. Now I'll let some more length out here on this spool. Reposition my chair here. Okay, so here's the end of the knot. I'm just going to make it easy for me. I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Now I got to figure out my length. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and remove this plastic. I could call it a grommet. More like a little plastic washer. Okay. Pull that washer out. Again, I'm going to re-thread through the new cord. And tie a knot 3 times. one. Oops, that will not work. Okay. One, two, and the third. Make sure that that extra string there. All right. Go ahead and pull, and that's that one. And again, I'm going to go ahead and give me some extra length on this one, just to confirm. This is my old one. This is the second one I removed, and I'll just double check the length to make sure that I'm exceeding it by plus 20 some inches. And that'll be right about there. And I will remove the old one, get it out of the work area, and now set that one off to the side. Now let's go down here to the third one. So I'm gonna go ahead and tug on it. When I do, I will definitely find which one is. It's definitely this one. I'll pull through it. I find that this is the string. Okay. Again, I'm going to tie the same knot that I did this last time because it seemed to work. And now pull it through. Okay, I pull that there. Now, let's see here, everyone. Okay. Pull it through. That's a pretty tight fit, but it did go through just fine. Ta-da! Okay. Cut that off. And again, we're going to recycle this little plastic washer. Get rid of the old, in with the new. Alright. And then we'll do that triple knot. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Pull this one through. That's all the way. This one's going to be a whole lot longer. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out some excess. And I'll measure it all when I get the line fully extended. Okay. Now I've got 3 of the 4 replaced with new. They're looking really nice. And then of course the last one is pretty easy to identify. Now I could kind of tell the old string that I'm replacing with the new string is just a smaller diameter than the one. Or it's just where it's been hit by the sun and it just looks a little bit larger. I don't have a device to actually measure it. But the one I'm replacing it is a 1 mil, which should be sufficient to raise and lower this blind. Okay, go ahead and put this knot in here. Boom. And let's pull this through. Here was another thing. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. Let me get in a better position here. So when the cat chewed on this, he also tugged on this piece of plastic which snapped this in half. And I looked everywhere on the internet for this and could not find it. So what I did is I got some JB Weld, put a little metal in there, gave it some good support, and put some JB Weld in this area, and that made it stronger, I think, than it originally was designed. So that worked out really good. All right, so I'm going to pull my knot through. Easier said than done. Okay, I guess I'm going to need a little assistance from my handy dandy screwdriver just to pull that gear in the open position. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Okay, so I gotta pull this gear back so that this knot can get through. And it's being stubborn this time. There we go. Now, don't want to entangle that, but gotta come down here and pull. Again, we're going to go through this plastic piece and then pull our string all the way through. And cut these strings. On this old one is the plastic piece that we're going to reuse. And then of course, do our triple knot. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull to tighten that up. And again, I want this length to be no shorter than the shortest one of these, which would be right here. But I want to make sure before is that this blind is completely compressed. And I'll just give that a nice tug, lock it into place. And now I will make sure my lengths are nearly identical. And they are right there. Okay, now I'll just check everything here and reinsert this top piece. And how it goes, it gets that top piece right there in there. And then it goes in this plastic grommet track. And then I just work the way down. Thank goodness we have a big table to work off of. All right. And this grommet here. You see how this sits on top? You want to make sure that sits on top and it doesn't go like underneath. Underneath is bad. On top is what you want. This grommet needs to be put in place. Just want to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, all the strings are on top. Take some of that tension off. All right, now this is going to be kind of funneled through. Let me make sure you guys are seeing that. Okay, so these strings will be channeled through this open area. Again, all 4 strings are on top. I'll slide that in. Okay, and then finally, this piece will fall into place. All right. Go ahead and clear this table off. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put the bottom piece back on. And we'll come down here. Now I've got a little excess string. I don't really need all that extra on there. And it keeps moving it down. Till it comes to the very end. And I will reinsert this end plug. I might come back with a glue gun and put a little glue in there. All right, now the challenge is the length. Now I could go ahead and take this back to their house and put it in the window and open it all the way down and then readjust, but I'm going to put this little cardboard underneath here so that you can see this a little bit better. And what I'm going to do to get the proper length, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And I've got some weights here because it acts like it's going to pull in on itself. I'm not quite sure the exact measurement of their bathroom window, but that's pretty much fully extended. Now, here's the 4 strings that I worked on. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come down about 20 inches here. And that's kind of the length I want this to be. But first, I got to do something. All right. Now here's that little BB and this plastic. And what I have to do first, I have to thread these 4 strings through this plastic grommet. I'll tell you, it might be better to see it over here. Now what I got to do next is thread these 4 strands of cord through this plastic. And once all 4 are through, then I'm going to go ahead and make sure my lengths are right. And I'm certain that the blind is extended as far as it needs to be. I've got some excess length, and then I'm going to tie a knot. All right, once this knot is tied, you can see that knot. Then I'm going to go ahead and so once that knot is tied, I bring this metal grommet, and what I'm going to do is open this up a little bit. I need my screwdriver. All right, now I'm going to apply this metal grommet to the cord, but I probably need to open this up just a little bit. Okay. This is going to be kind of hard to see. I'm certainly having a trouble just handling it, but I want to run the cords through this metal There's one. Okay, there's 4. And then I'm just going to give a squeeze. And then, as I pull this through, you'll see that these 2 pieces then come together. So now when I pull this through, you'll see that that will be a good connection. I'll back this out just a little bit and I'll cut this excess off. And that will complete the rethreading of this blind. Well, we've completed this task. It took about 45 minutes to put new string on here. Again, this cost $10, and the tools I needed were needle nose pliers, a screwdriver, and a pair of scissors. The blind cost about $300 brand new, so this was a pretty easy fix. And of course, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm trying to go ahead and get some more subscribers on my channel, so if you enjoyed this content, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and subscribe. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. You can also leave a comment, 1 or 2. And I say if you have a chance to hit the bell will allow you as a subscriber when I put a new video out there, to let you know I posted something. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good day. Take care. Bye.